All right. Hey, man, how's it going? It's great to see you again. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. Yes, I am in another hotel room. And this week, the entire week, I'm here in Laughlin, Nevada at Don Laughlin's Riverside Casino and Resort. I'm looking out the door to my little balcony patio area, and I can see the Colorado River right there. It's just right there. It's beautiful around here. There's mountains in the distance. The sky is just about as big as I've ever seen anywhere. It's beautiful. Tonight will be show number 3 of our run here at this particular casino resort, and it's been incredibly fun. I've had a wonderful time hanging out with the singers and everybody in the backing band. We have a cello this week, and that's been an incredible treat. I really enjoyed hearing cello with this music because if you're familiar at all with Platter's music, it's very orchestral in nature. Even when there's rhythm section, there's all kinds of lush strings and things like that that really make this music pretty. There's no other word for it. It's just pretty music, beautiful music, kind of like the scenery of the place that we're at this week. So I'm really enjoying myself. You notice I don't have my practice pad out. I have it over here and I have some sticks. We may do that a little bit later. But the first thing that I wanted to do while I'm here and while I've got things going on, I wanted to show you what road life is really like during the day. Most people think that it's basically a paid vacation, and that, for an hour and a half to 2 hours a night, that's the only time that you're really working. And if you're playing a show that you've known a whole lot, you've been playing it a whole lot, you've rehearsed it a lot, you've been playing with the same people, a lot of people think that, wow, these road trips are kind of a paid vacation. And they're anything but that. Because especially on gigs like this where we're planted in the same theater for multiple nights, and especially in this situation where we really are trying to hone and refine what we're doing with this Platter's Christmas show for the month of December, I spend more time working off stage than I do on stage. And so what I want to do today is I want to take you through what I have set up here and what I usually bring with me on the road for gigs where we really are trying to make sure that we can sharpen the pencil every single time and really get all of the details just right. You'd be surprised how much care and how much work goes into putting together a show that when you see it, it looks effortless and flawless and so well put together. It doesn't just fall together that way. So let's take a look at my setup that I have here in my room, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing with all this stuff and how it correlates to what I've got in the theater as well. All right, so this is what I've got sitting here in the desk in my room, and you can kind of see the things. We're going to go through everything, but I just want to give you sort of a bird's eye view of everything. The most important thing on this table is probably the Topo Chico right here. Man, you want to make sure that you stay hydrated, and you don't want to drink too many Pepsis. I've had more than I probably need this week. So one of the most important tools that I carry with me on every single road gig is this Zoom H6. And this is a 6-track recorder. It's got a couple of microphones right here on the top that I usually put this next to the front of house console out at the back of the theater or whatever venue we're playing at. And so that way I get a pretty good perspective of what it sounds like back at the front of house mix engineer's position. So we've got the house mics. It's also good because you can hear the crowd. You can hear their reaction as well. Now, on most gigs where I'm able to get it, I also have some inputs so that I can put a left and right board feed into this recorder. So I've got not only the house mics, but the board feed in sync with that as well. And if there's anything else that I want to get separate, I can, if a front of house guy knows how to give me the drums separately or something, a separate output. I also have another stereo pair I can work with. But I'd say 9 times out of 10, I'm doing room mics and some kind of board mix that I can use to go back and do this work that you're about to see. So that comes in super duper handy. So what do I use on the gig, on stage? I've got 2 iPads that I use. This iPad is running Fourscore, and this has all of my different charts for all the tunes, as well as notes about what to do. In this case, we've got Don't Stop, and it also tells me where we're going to, which is the Ronettes version of Sleigh Ride. So the great thing about when this iPad is on the stand, I can just tap it and it goes to the very next page. And you'll see that I've marked up these charts a lot. Some of these charts are changes to things that we made in rehearsals. Some of them are just decisions that I make in the moment that aren't in the ink. This is a great example here. If you're familiar at all with the song Magic Touch, the B section of this tune has this flat tire shuffle in it that wasn't in the ink. And for whatever reason, they really didn't play it very much. At least that groove in that section. To me, it really helps to make that tune singular from so many other tunes. And it's such a great feel when you play it in that section. So yeah, we tried it in rehearsal. It worked great. So I made sure to kind of write a note in for myself. So all my charts, and now I've cleaned them up. Anything that I normally would cross off now is just whited out on their chart so I don't have a bunch of junk. You can see there was some stuff here that we didn't need. This is an intro that we just added about 2 days ago. So we did a quick rehearsal before the first show, and we completely revamped this little intro for Enchanted. So I just whited out everything at the top, write in the thing that I need to know to play, and we're off and running. So yeah, so my iPad houses all my charts. That one is got a bunch of stuff marked out on it. Anyway, and then I have a mix of drum charts and piano scores, and in some cases, guitar charts that are basically just like master rhythm guitar chord charts. It really runs the gamut. I like to see chord charts like this because it really helps me to get a sense of the shape of a tune and really what is the song doing as we go along. Sometimes when I only have notes and the drums, kind of like this, you got to be a little bit more creative about how you look at these charts to understand what's going on in the form of them, especially like in the case of this chart, it doesn't really mark the sections other than a feel change here at 12. It goes from one feel at the beginning to this different feel in 12, back to this other feel that we started with in bar 20. You don't really get a lot about the shape of the tune just from what's in the drum chart. So I'll show you real quick. Let me flip over here. A lot of times I'll put cues in, like you can kind of see here. What are those accents for? Well, they're to accent the words with this ring. So that really just helps me lock it down super tight so I can listen to the singers, they can listen to me. We can really get that thing happening. So there was one place in particular. I'm gonna flip through all these. This is an example of just a basic chord chart. You all probably know this tune, the Run Run Rudolph. It's the Chuck Berry tune, but we've got a very specific intro that we're playing that's based on the Cher version. I didn't even know there was a Cher version up until a few weeks ago. So, no, what I wanted to show you was, keep flipping, I know where it is, let's just go to it. So what I'm able to do for people that don't realize what this does, so in Fourscore, I'm able to line up all of my PDFs of my charts in a set list order. And so this goes in the set list order. And if I have a tune where I'm laying out, either make a page that says tacit, or in some cases like this tune, The Prayer, I'll look at it. That's one that I had some things written originally and we decided not to do it. So I just put tacit and leave the stage. This is what I want to show you. One of the things that I don't always like about drum charts is the drum music doesn't really give me a sense of what it is that the ink is instructing me to do. And so, like in this case, to really tighten up the end of this song, I went back and wrote in the chords for the last line of the tune. And it just really helps me with understanding as we move through what I need to do and how I need, because I'm not really playing the ink in this case. In this case, I'm using a little bit of artistic liberties to play something that's better for what the music I'm hearing is doing. Same thing goes with where I've written the lyrics on top here. I end up playing something a little bit different than what the ink says because now that I know what I'm trying to put my emphasis on, then I can make some different decisions. But for me, once I knew what those chords were doing, it really sort of changed how I decided to treat the end of this. Before, I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, and I just didn't feel like it did anything. So anyway, tons of different kinds of charts on here. At some point, I'll do another video. I think there's one on my channel already. I'll do another video about how I prep these charts and get ready for gigs like this. The other iPad that I use on the gig has all of my tempos. Now, in some cases, like with Marshmallow World, which is the very first tune that we're doing, for me, we're not actually playing with a click for that first tune. So what happens is, let's go back all the way to the beginning of this here. So there's a cue here. They do Silver Bells, which I'm tacit on. And when they say the word here, and on every street corner you hear, our keyboard player and musical director, Michael, counts 4 silently. Then he plays 4 beats of sleigh bells. He has the sleigh bells on a keyboard, so he can trigger those. And then that's when I play 2 bars of these triplets. Well, I want to make sure that we hit that 165 really, really solid. But there's really no way, at least the way this show is set up, to make sure that we're right on that 165. So what I do is I sort of preview it. I get a real sense for where it is. Between his count and the 4 notes that he plays, I'm able to discern if I need to move this up or down. Like if he's just a little bit happy, a little excited, he might be a little bit on the bright side. He may be a little closer to 170, which in this case, the words are a lot harder to sing at that faster tempo. So what I try and do is I get a feel for what that 165 is. And so I may start at the front part of that bar and play what his tempo is, but by the end of that second bar, I'm going to have us in a 165. And I'm going to be really dang close to what that tempo is so that the singers, from the time they start singing, have a comfortable tempo where they can get the words out and they can have time to breathe. That's the other part. You'll see some notes like this. Don't stop. We go right on to the next tune, which is a slightly different tempo and a completely different feel. Kind of doing sometimes I just start with the second line. Other times, if I'm feeling, if I've got a really good sounding floor tom, I might play the first 4 bars of this tune, more like a Gene Krupa second line, kind of swinging on the floor tom. Depends on the backline kit that I get. But I have these tempos for 190. I have it in the iPad, and I just I use it during rehearsals just to make sure that if we're spot checking things, I can start us at the right tempo. Same thing with Sleigh Ride. But all of those first 3 tempos really are just kind of in my body at this point from the rehearsals and from playing a couple shows already. But and then other tunes like Magic Touch. This one's interesting because Magic Touch actually starts with a vocal cue. Ba-da-da-dun, you've got is the very first thing that he sings. And I'm getting a relative tempo from it. But what I'm doing is when I hit that snare drum note on the, I'm actually timing that so that boom. When I hit that first downbeat right there, I will have gotten 3 triplets to let me know how fast we need to play. And so I'll leave the click on at least for the first time through the repeat, and then usually I'll turn it off afterwards. That flat tire shuffle, if I can kind of lay that thing way back, it feels really cool to do that. And so without the click going ding, 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 ding in my ear, it's a lot easier to achieve that. So this is one of those where we start with a click, but by the end we're just kind of going on my own tempo, which doesn't move too much, thank goodness. And then we got a retard in there. Same kind of thing here. So you get the idea. This really is when I feel like we're not where we need to be, I can always flip it in and get us back to where we need to be over the course of, say, 4 bars, so you don't feel it moving. Or in some cases, when I'm starting a tune like Let It Snow, I start that thing, it's just in my ear, nobody else hears it. And then when they give me the nod, I just go, 1, 2, 3, 4, zata, da digga da digga da doom, and then we're off and running. For most of that tune, I'm running the click on this one because I want to keep that tempo super solid. They've got dance stuff that they're doing. The tempo is so brisk that I want to make sure it doesn't speed up and make it harder for everybody to hold things together, or slow down and just feel like it lags. So in the case of a tune like this, yeah, I'll leave this whole thing on in my ear all the time. So now what happens after we play a show? So the first thing that I do when I get back to the room is I load the audio from that SD card and my recorder here into Pro Tools. And for this week, I've only got the house mics. I don't have a board feed, so it's a little simpler process. And all I'm doing here is I'm just using some plugins to make this house mix sound a little bit better. So I've got this Oxide, which is a tape plugin. Really just uses a little compression is what that's doing. I've got a channel strip where I've got some EQ and some other things. A lot of EQ, a little bit of a de-esser, some compression, and then sort of an overall final mastering plugin that I really dig for this quick stuff. This is from Plugin Alliance. And so I'll take a few minutes and really work on the sound of the audio that I capture so that I can, it makes it more listenable. It makes it more enjoyable to listen to. And in some cases, I can hear better detail. When we dump out some of the mud, maybe the low mids, or we cut a little of the harshness, maybe a room we're in is particularly harsh, and kind of get rid of that stuff, and it makes it easier to listen to for long periods of time. So that's from show number 2. And here's show number 1 over there. So I'll do all that work in Pro Tools so that not only will I have a recording of the show that's listenable, and that because it's been mastered a little bit, I can listen to it in almost any kind of device and get it sounding pretty good. But to go through the show, I actually opened this up in a program called Sound Studio, and it's just a really low power, super easy way for me to load this show up and see where the tunes are, where the talking segments are. And you can see how much louder it is than the original audio that I captured. Just makes it a lot more listenable on whatever device I'm using. In this case, I'm normally put my ear monitors in, or if I bring some headphones, I've got that. Let's see what this is. This speaker on this laptop's not great, but. All right, so it sounds a lot better on the ear monitors. But so I've got audio that I can listen to and go through my charts. I can see if I need to make any adjustments to my charts. Sorry about all the craziness here. I can make adjustments to my charts. If I hear anything that's a little weird, I can try and figure out why isn't that locking down as much as it needs to. The other thing that I have to work with here, though, is this time I set up 2 cameras. I set up one camera from behind so that I could capture everything that was happening on stage. Unfortunately, the front of house is so far away, putting a camera up there like a GoPro just wasn't a good fit. couldn't really see very much. So I'm using that second camera that I brought with me. Show those to you in a second. That second camera, I'm going to do something pretty cool for the channel. So anyway, so what I'm able to do is I'm also able to go back and look. The audio on this is not great. So just for my own work, if something's weird about, let's say, the intro of a song, how we get into a tune, or how we're getting out of tune, I can look on stage and see, am I missing something? Am I missing a visual cue? In this case, I've got a little bit of a shot of the musical director here. I can see him at times. I really can get a bead on, is one of the performers doing something in the front that I'm just not catching? Because either I'm looking at my chart or I'm looking at the musical director, or is there something I'm missing? And this has been very, very valuable for helping to lock down what's going on with these tunes and to help me make notes about what to look for, what to listen for, or maybe what to change in my music so that what I'm doing is more in line with what is needed for this show. So yeah, so it's just a visual indicator. I'll end up using this video for some other stuff on YouTube. I'll show you what I'm shooting with. Normally, I've been shooting with, most everything you've seen from live performances has been this GoPro. This is just a Hero 9. I've got a Hero 11 back at the house as well. But this Hero 9 just stays in my bag. I use it on most of my gigs to capture something. And then I'm trying out, this is the camera you're looking at right now, on my screen there, is this DJI Osmo Action 4, which I think is going to become my go-to camera for that over-the-shoulder shot. The colors look really good. It does really good with the areas of the picture that are not very well lit up. This is not a videography video, talking about video gear and stuff, but I am going to do a comparison of these two cameras at some point here on this tour so that we can take a look at the differences between those cameras and why I think that Osmo Action is going to end up being, the DJI Action 4 is going to end up being my over-the-shoulder camera for all my videos going forward. So yeah. I was showing you earlier about the end of that tune where I needed to get some chords and things happening. And so that's part of what this keyboard is sitting here for. This keyboard is here for a number of different reasons. If there's something in the music that I need to go and take a look at, like the chords at the end of that Angels of the Realm, I can go back and I can pull those chords, and while I'm here in the hotel room, I can play those chords, really get those chords into my ear, get a sense for what that cadence is like sonically, and it helps me make some cool decisions. So, but also I've been practicing keyboards a lot more. So part of my time spent in the hotel room each day is practicing a little bit of keyboards. There's not a ton I can do on here. Practice some scales, practice some basic things with basic songs and basic chord stuff. But it's better than having nothing at all. Most of the time, there's not a piano somewhere where I can go and sit for an hour. And most people don't want to sit and listen to me practice for 30 minutes to an hour because it's pretty nerve-wracking to hear me play. So, but the other reason that I bring this is, and it's the same reason why I have my Akai MPC controller sitting here, is when I get to a point this week where I'm completely done with getting my charts together, getting all the show stuff together, there are other things that I'm working on for studio projects and for songs that I'm writing. And so these two pieces of gear right here are great for being able to work with my studio in a box. Here on my laptop, I've got Pro Tools and all of the other digital audio workstation products that I use for music creation. And so you can kind of see some of the stuff here in the taskbar that's on this particular laptop. Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton, MPC Studio, Cubase and Wavelab, Reason, And then I also have my video editing software. I'm getting some video stuff done here on the road, which brings me over to, we've talked about the cameras, but these Samsung solid state drives, these T7s, that's a T7 Shield, that's a regular T7. And this one is one I'm trying out, which is a new NVMe drive that I just put in an enclosure. I bring some solid state drives with me so I can work on some of the video projects for the YouTube channel and for the teaching sites that I have going right now, where I've got video lessons. If you haven't been to faderjockspro.com, go over there. You can get access to a ton of great audio engineering and music production tutorials and courses. And then we're revamping drumcorner.net right now, which is my drum lesson website. So those are the things that I'm working on when I'm not working on show music. So that way I keep myself pretty busy. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little walk through this entire setup that I have. It really is, it's a studio and a rehearsal studio all in one hotel room. If you like this kind of behind the scenes content, you like to see what happens when we're not on stage, I would love to do more of this for you. Just leave a comment below and put your thoughts in, ask questions. Tell me if you like this kind of content, because if you do, there's tons more to make. There are tons of things to tell you about what happens when we go on the road. And it's not what you think it is, really. You know, when I was growing up, especially when I was in my teenage years, you know, I thought that going on the road and being a traveling musician was basically like joining the circus. It's probably the most intensive job I've ever had, that's for sure. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. Thanks for coming back every single week and checking out the videos on this channel. Most of the people that see these videos are not regular subscribers. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you'll be able to see and know about all the videos that I put out every single week. There's a really special one coming up here next week. Make sure you ding that bell. You'll get notifications every single time that I put a video out. And if you like this content, please give it a thumbs up, because not only does that help the video in its rankings, but it lets the algorithm know that people like this stuff like you, and that more people like you will probably want to see this stuff. So that's all I got for you this week. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'm sure we'll do more from here in Laughlin since we're here for a few days. I'm going to get a bunch of these videos done for you. If there's anything that you want to see, put it in the comments below. Thanks so much. Until next time, be awesome to yourself. Be extra awesome to everybody that you meet. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you. Thanks so much.